So today I have 4 ways that we're going to start this process. Very exciting. With good news, bad news, old news, and a whopping success secret. So exciting. Which one do you want first? Bad news. Okay. The bad news is, to get the results that you want, it's going to take consistent, diligent work. Consistent, diligent work. You're going to have to apply these things. You can get the most amazing information and amazing strategy, and you know it's going to work. And you go back and you try it once, and people start to resist you, and you stop. It's not going to work that way. So the good news is this stuff works. And the whopping success secret. Just because this is simple, these concepts are simple, doesn't mean they're going to be easy. The secret is, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And so many times we think the thing that's going to change my life, that's going to change the trajectory of my career, it's going to change my relationships and my ability to enjoy my life more, it's going to be this big, crazy, complicated thing, formula. But the reality is, it's just simple things that you do over and over that are really going to change your life, and are going to change the lives around you. And just because it's a simple thing, though, doesn't mean it's going to be easy. We're very habitual in nature. We like things to be like they've always been. And even if we say we like change, we'll end up going back into the workplace, and without even thinking about it, we'll do what we've always done, and then we'll be like, oh, that workshop didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you're doing what you always did. Get the same result. There is a famous, in the family psychiatry world, a family psychiatrist, a therapist, her name is Virginia Satir, back in the 50s. And she said, she was renowned because people were ridding phobias and getting off medication, healing families. I mean, she had amazing results from the people in her practice. And so she was studied by this guy named Richard Bandler, who developed the science of neuro-linguistic programming. Very famous. And she was talking to this guy named Richard, and he was talking about human nature, like the strongest human instinct is survival. We've heard that a lot. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic thing is survival, having all the stuff that we need. And she challenged it. She said, no, the strongest human instinct isn't survival. The strongest human instinct is to look at familiar things. And the story goes, Richard's like, what are you talking about? And when I heard that, I thought the same. What? That doesn't even make sense. Survival is the strongest. It's the base. And look at familiar things. What does that even mean? Then I started thinking about relationships, some of which I've been in, and some relationships of people that I know, relationships that they would consider themselves as bad. I don't like it. They don't like it. But they stay. Have you ever known people in that? They're in bad relationships and they stay year after year after year. Anybody know anybody like that? That's right. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Don't tell him I said that. No. And he's a great guy and she's a great girl. They just clash sometimes. Anyway, beautiful people. And these people, I've been in that place where I've been in these relationships. Why do we do that? Why do we stay even when we think it's bad? It's familiar. It's just familiar things. Our strongest human instinct is to look at familiar things. In my circles, it's very common to have a client or even like my therapist friends that have patients that they've been together in an abusive relationship. The woman is abusing the husband 20 years, like physically throwing stuff, verbally yelling. She leaves him. The guy takes his life. You're thinking, man, the guy was free. I thought the guy was free, right? He's finally freed from her. But he can't handle it. What happens is we get to the place where this may be what I have, that I don't like it necessarily, but at least I know what I have. At least I know what I'm getting. Out there, in the unknown, you could die. Right? That's what we think. It's like a weird thing. And so we stick with what we have. There's a Danish philosopher over 100 years ago. His name was Soren Kierkegaard. Kierkegaard's writings are profound. The guy's so smart. He said that there's a plague in the land. There's a plague in the land. And I think it applies today even more than it applied when he first wrote it. He said there's a plague in the land. It's when people accept a life they tolerate and they label it happy. They accept a life they tolerate and they label it happy. How are you doing? Are you happy? Yeah, I'm happy. It's pretty good. Soren Kierkegaard. So this is the secret of the Whopping Success Secret is this is simple. But it's not easy because you're going to go back in and let's say you're like, wow, I'm going to start implementing that lowering the resistance thing. I think that's a good idea. And I'm going to find out what's important to my people. Let's say Johnny, you're working with Johnny and you say, hey, Johnny, I just want to, I thought, I don't really know what your life's like and, how you doing? What's important to you? And Johnny looks at you and says, is there a problem here? Did I do something? Do you need something? I mean, am I doing my job bad or what's going on? Resistance, right? And it gets weird. Like they're weirded out. Stepping into a new thing. Now, let's say that maybe Johnny wished that you cared about him. Now, my boss doesn't even know who I am. Like, I'm just a number. They don't care about me. And you show up like that and they resist you anyway. Why would Johnny do that? Right, what might he be thinking? Exactly. Here's the truth. People don't see you as you are. People see you as you were. People don't see you as you are. They see you as you were, who you've been, how you've treated them in the past, how they thought of you in the past. And you can choose today to say, I'm going to be interested in my people. I'm going to increase the care. I'm going to care about them because I think it's going to work better. Jim Rohn, he said, well, actually Zig Ziglar, he's a famous speaker as well. Zig Ziglar said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's what he said. And then Jim Rohn added to that. He said, if you care at all, you're going to get results in business. But if you care enough, you're going to get amazing results. So it's care. It's like this element. But people will resist you because there's not the trust that's built up yet. So what you got to do, how you fix it, is you create a new past that they can think about. Now, you can't change the past, but what you do is you start to interact in a new way so that now, after a while, they think back and like, oh, yeah, they are always asking about me and interested about stuff. Okay, I'll start to trust. Oh, that is in alignment with who they were. Oh, they're not just trying to trick me right now. Does that make sense? It could be very influential for us. So the Whopping Success Secret, it's going to take risk. You got to put yourself out there, and people reject you because a lot of times, even with relationships, I heard a story about a woman that just hated her husband. And one of her girlfriends is like, yeah, I hate her too, or hate him too. This is what you're going to do. The girlfriend had an idea. Pretend that you just love the guy. And for a month, do everything that he loves and just be super nice to him and be really loving and caring and ask questions and actually listen to the guy. Oh, and just get him to like you again and get him to love you again. And then once he loves you, what you got to do is divorce him. That'll teach him. And she said, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And so, they part their ways, and over a month goes by, and the friend sees her and says, hey, how did it go? Did you do it? Did it work? She said, yeah. He really started to love me. At first, it was weird. He resisted me. It was still the jerk he's always been. But after a while, man, he started to fall in love again, and he started to really love me back. Oh, man, it was crazy. She's like, did you divorce him? She said, no, I kind of love him again. It's amazing. It'll be resistance at first, but after a while, you'll be surprised what can happen. It's a beautiful thing, really, because each of us is going to have that experience where we're out on our own. Or you have somebody that's doing something great, and are we willing to risk following something good? And it's really just effective communication and willing to risk.